I'm so frightened how if I'm expelled the Taliban are departure to murder me, says Bari, who treated as an translator for the UK gunman forces among 2008 and 2010 next the US-led intrusion of Afghanistan in 2001. They are send me to Afghanistan to get annihilated. The 27-year-old of Kunduz in northern Afghanistan says he acquired threats of the Taliban and fled to Britain, wherever he declared refuge in 2015. Now the cases of such, Love Bari, who serviced near the UK war fight the Taliban include acquired new focus following more than rather than 150 interpreters wrote a email to UK Household Secretariat Sajid Javid proverb they'd been said to pay thousands of pounds in visa annex charges if they willing to remain. The propose, yet, does not use to Bari. It doesn't offer me any expect since the declaration was for interpreters on the resettlement schema and I leftward in 2010 so I'm not acceptable. Although he risked his lifetime for the UK troop, Bari's refuge complaint was discarded by the UK Household Office space. Bari says in spite the testimony he gave, UK officials didn't trust down there were Taliban threats versus him. He now many faces removed but is stimulating the judgment in the courts. As he awaits a definitive judgment on creature remote of the UK, Bari now spends his days in a asylum seeker orphanage, wherever he gets fare £35, $48, a 1 week for meal, hygienic means and clothing. I utilize to box professionally in Afghanistan. I can't though do how there since I don't include the order to job, he says. I get so suppressed. Help the UK troop things utilized to be so various for Bari, whose lifetime modified 10 years ago while he attached to be an translator for the UK gunman forces in Kabul. I was very agitated to assist since the war requested to give world and safety to my nation, he explains. It was my responsibility to assist as down there was no world. As portion of his part, Bari helping to unload tensions among UK forces and original inhabitants in the areas about the Afghani equity. Bari recalls how he utilized to get safety regulations to hinder him of creature identified, such as cover his person and tiring sunglasses. They were inconvenient, although, so he occasionally risked outgoing his person vulnerable. Ultimately, Bari says, regional sympathizers aware the Taliban militants he was work for the UK, and his household begun to get threats for laboring near the infidels. Campaigners say the Household Office space's judgment to email refuge repatriates behind to a nation love Afghanistan is a infringement of the UK's responsibility to defend countrymen of countries wherever it is betrothed. And it isn't fair former British gunman forces workers who include been struck. Among January and March in 2014 to 2016, the UK has violently remote 1,387 refugees behind to Afghanistan, on to Household Office space statistic. Else asylum seeker struck by the Household Office space's judgment to back refuge repatriates to Afghanistan is Mohammed Salim Iqbal, who says he was fair 13 while his dad was killed by the Taliban in 2103 for refusal to accede the team. He fled his hometown of Jalalabad on the consultation of his gaffer and traversed to the UK wherever he desired refuge the next year. His mom remaining in Kabul, but following the Taliban heard of Iqbal's flying of Afghanistan, militants shipped her an email menacing to discover Iqbal as they include hands anywhere, on to his London-based attorney. The Household Office space said Iqbal, someone's now 18, how he must back to Afghanistan following his refuge complaint was discarded. The position in Europe though fight in the nation has strengthened above the year, Afghanistan signed an location in 2016 in some Europe countries to email Afghans behind household. And in spite the hazardous environment in Kabul and some cities with later, down there has been no allow up in the numbers creature expelled. Germany is not the just Europe nation to expel refugees behind to Afghanistan. In the identical pardon paper, Norway had the highest quantity of constrained returns behind to Afghanistan in the at first block of 2017. Sweden and Greece were as well informed to be amongst Europe nations in the highest quantity of constrained repatriations to Afghanistan. This persistence of the EU term state on back human beings to the nation, that is politically brittle and has a easing economics, reveals lot more than on Europe rather than on Afghanistan. Kabul is rupture at the seams and is yet tortured by dispute. The household office space told it would not commentary on any person cases, and a representative told it anticipated individuals who include depleted the appeals trial to back willingly. If one refuses, remove is just forced while we and the courts sign how it is secure to do so, in a secure path of back. Bari and the some refugees, although, urge down there is no secure way to go behind and the unreliability of residing in the UK is take its duty. I will be at hazard if I back, says Bari. I requirement assist and no one helps me.